This is actually one of the things that people find difficult about Shaktipat, because Shaktipat is grace and it's tough love all the way. It will tend to go to those darkest places first and produce challenges inside the life that bring up some of the most difficult pain. And they go, wait a minute, I mean, I'm supposed to feel worse? And it's hard to explain. That's what, even when you do, they go, I don't know. But that's oftentimes what's going on. The Shakti will go to that place and begin to draw it out. It's like leaching the poison out of a wound. What I've also seen is that the Shakti is very merciful in that it won't force you to accept the entire pain of that poison all at once. It will actually be very medical. It will lance and leach it out over degrees. So you're aware of pain, but it's not unbearable. You're aware of discomfort. You'll feel that energy. And it's one of the things when you become psychically awake, you become aware of a very broad array of pressures outside to the ever more subtle inside. Because the light of God is so pervasive, God is always just going to the next thing to be perfected, next thing to be perfected. What you are good at is applauded and admirable and admired, but it's always the most effective use of time in a given lifespan to go where the weakness is and make that weakness strong. One of the ideas of spiritual life is a part of your meditation is as the light goes in, it comes into contact with who and what you are. And part of that is in light and part of that is in shadow. And it is that which is in shadow that is causing the discomfort and causing the pain. And it is the nature of light to make the shadow light, make it conscious. So it will tend to begin to draw from those subtle sources of suffering. It doesn't take long. This is one of the things why you're counseled to meditate every day. Bring the life force in, the generation of the Soham. And so that the entire egg of both light and shadow is illuminated. And if you get systematic about it, meditating every day, you generate a huge volume of spiritual force, spiritual power. And once the power says, okay, now it's time for this piece of the character to come under pressure. And here's this entire array of behaviors that lead back to this particular desire that has been caused by this deep spiritual wound, some form of self-betrayal that happened somewhere along the line. Because that's usually where the battle of the spirit is fought. But what will happen, the resolution is, chances are a lot of the pain and suffering you've been carrying for a lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. But once Shaktipat hits, it will strike that wound and it will lance the wound. And in the process of the attention being drawn there, you'll come to understand the entire pathway of activity and the forms of behavior that are trying to heal. Almost all disease originates in the mind. The mind suffers and then the body cries out, some form of physical dis-ease. The idea of daily practice, daily connection with the Guru, daily connection with the Soham, generates a process where the lancing of the inner poison and the drawing of that poison out and the spiritual force that is built up over your daily practice, the action of your 21,000 breaths being made conscious. You can cycle a wound that you've been carrying for countless lifetimes inside a matter of days, weeks. I mean, some of the fiercest wounds that I carried at the most took a year. And then they're gone. So what you want to do is you want to pay attention to the solution, the medicine. The medicine is the Shaktipat, the grace of the Guru, and the application of the Guru's grace through daily practice, through the japa of the Soham. This gives you access to an endless force of spiritual energy. And that energy really is endless. And so any particular wound that comes up, as long as you don't defend it or try to protect it, which is a mistake, simply allow the connection of grace and the force of Shaktipat to come in connection with that. feed it with the constant attention of the Soham and daily practice of meditation, your system will be brought into health very swiftly.